Welcome to session 8 on my personal finances. Now, in this session, I'm not going to be talking about Bharosa Club, but I'm going to talk about some of the resources that I use, which are other than Bharosa Club. So the whole objective that I have is to simplify things so that I can enjoy life without worrying about finances. You know, some of the mundane things like bill payments and various other things. How can I automate all these so that they're on autopilot? So let's start off with my bank account. So I have all these mobile alerts and things set up. My credit card bill is linked to my bank account and gets automatically paid. So as long as I keep a reasonable sum of money in the bank account, not too much because it's not going to earn much, but enough, which maybe once in a couple of months I have to refund, then I'll be set because my bill payments also are all done through that. And so are recurring payments for my help. Now with this, because I again understand my bank's internet system quite well, in most cases, unless in the rare case that I have to transfer large sums of money, I do not need to visit my bank branch. So I think that in the last 2 or 3 years, I've visited the bank branch maybe 1 or 2 times, so not even once a year. So that's as far as my bank goes. And I've purposely chosen a bank, in my case, ICICI Bank, that has pretty good internet and mobile banking. Okay. So then for a brief while, I looked at these aggregation sites like Aditya Birla Money and I think Personal FN or something like that. But I didn't find them very useful, so I don't use them very much. And that's partly because my number of accounts and all that are quite low. And I also didn't find them very easy to use. And I think this whole aggregation thing still needs a lot of work in India, and it's not very easy. So aside from that, on things like mutual funds, stocks, once in a while to check something out, I use sites like Value Research and Money Control. So those are things. And then my portfolio, like I showed in one of the earlier sessions, I use my Yahoo to track that. Now I've been using that historically. There may be better ones, whatever, but I find once you get used to something, you continue to use it. Then in the US, aside from Fidelity Investments, I use TurboTax to file my tax return, along with the help of a CA or CPA as it's called in the US. So with that, I'm able to file my tax returns. In India, I haven't used ClearTax or one of the H&R Block or whatever the sites which are available here to file my Indian returns. That's just because my chartered accountant, who is the chartered accountant for Bharosa, the accounting firm that we use, Bharosa Club, he does my personal tax returns also as kind of a favor. So he's a pretty good friend. And I kind of buy him lunch. So it's a good barter deal. So I don't need to use ClearTax. So those are some of the sites that I use. Now, also, I use the blog called Farnham Street Blog, which is quite interesting to kind of keep up with books and mental models and things like that. And I'll share my screen and show you a few of the other things that I use. Okay, so I share it here. And okay, so one of the sites I use is a site called Ticker Tape. So I've done some videos on a company called Adani Green. So if I just want to see how is Adani Green trading today, and we see that it's at 375.59, so it's up 5%. And then if I go like 1 month, it's had a high of 486.75, a low of 261.20. and it sort of goes up and down in steps, in there. So anyway, so I can look at this kind of stock. I can look at the price charts. I can look at forecasts. I can look at financials and so on. So it's a good site, and there's a lot of free stuff. Then there is a little bit of paid stuff that you can do, and the payment is just 118 rupees a month. Now on the side here, you also have things like on this, it says that there's insufficient value for intrinsic data, the returns, the insufficient data, dividend returns. It doesn't offer this thing entry point, good to consider a stock is not in the overbought zone. And there are red flags found because it has a high default probability. So it's a good initial place to kind of come and look for stocks. Then in terms of one very interesting site that I recently came across was this thing called Simply Wall Street. And I fed in some of the stocks that were there in my small case portfolio, the Barossa Club Top 150 portfolio. And out of the 20, I was able to feed in 19. And this kind of does stocks across the board. So it does US stocks, Australian stocks, Indian stocks, and a few other countries. So I think it's a company based in Australia, but their UI and things are quite, so they've automated a lot of the stuff. So if I put this in, it can show you that my portfolio, that Indian INR portfolio that has returned 24.83% annually since inception. An established income portfolio with a solid track record. So it has a detailed return report, which I could get. I guess I'll have to pay for that. Or no, maybe I get it. I don't know. Let's see. So it says download as a CSV file. So I've downloaded it. So that's great. So I can kind of see how the returns are calculated: 1 year, 3 years, 1 month, 5 years, etc. So I can see that. I can go back here, and it tells me the returns, the dividend income, the total return, my holdings. And it's got this interesting thing called a snowflake. So depending on the color of this and the size of it, you can see, so it didn't like Ramco Siemens as a stock because it's reddish and small. It doesn't like United Breweries as a stock, but it likes Britannia Industry, which is pretty green. It doesn't like Bharti Airtel, it's pretty red. It doesn't like the liquid bees, but anyway, that's just cash. So, and so on and so forth. So it has all this kind of stuff. Then you can go on, and it tells you about returns, the historical value, the contributors to return, the diversification, and then it's got all this across industries, what's the kind of thing. So it says in materials, I have UPL and Ramco Cement. In household and personal products, I have Marico Dabur and Colpal, and then Hindustan Unilever. And software and services, I have these, and it gives the kind of percentage that I have in all these kind of things. And then how much do I have in pharma, and what are the other things that I have. So pretty interesting. As you can see, the UI is very nice, and it can give you stuff. So this is something that guys can play around with and explore. Okay. Then the other one that I use is Bloomberg. So like you can see, there's an article here which says the Indian rupee rises to 3-month high on strong inflows. And then, if I go to the menu here, in the home, it shows where to invest $10,000. So this gets updated quarterly. So it's not yet been updated for July because the last update was April 8th. So I expect on July 8th it'll be updated. And then I can see what certain experts say, like this Russ said that in the previous quarter, insulate with gold. Now I did insulate with gold, not necessarily because I saw this, but okay, it reinforced my view, right? So, so that's it. And then, if I go to this YouTube, so if I go to, so I go up here and I go to, not my, okay, so I'm trying to, okay, I go to my subscriptions. So it shows things from various channels that I have subscribed to. So for instance, one of the channels that I've subscribed to is this Rachna Ranade, who's a CA, and she makes some interesting videos. So I listened to this fundamental analysis for Adani Green that she had done, and that sort of, I used that in my analysis of Adani Green. So, YouTube was also an interesting place to find out things that can help you improve your financial literacy. Well, that's all I had for you in terms of the other resources that I use for this, for keeping myself occupied and with my personal finances, but stuff that makes it very, very easy for me. So only once in a while do I spend time, because like I feel that financial independence is really having to spend very little time on your finances so that you can enjoy better things in life than worrying about your finances. So after this, I will meet you for the last session, which is on retirement and 360-degree financial planning. And again, has nothing much to do with Bharosa Club, because that kind of functionality Bharosa Club yet has to offer. It just says that you should try and retire early, but it doesn't provide you many tools to help you do a 360-degree financial plan. So anyway, I use a tool that I developed, so I will share that with you. Thank you very much for listening to me, and see you in the next session.